Hi, I'm Tammy Fontana, and welcome to your Mental Health Spa Day. Thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed this Substack, please subscribe to get regular updates. I post about every 4 days new content. I wanted to talk today about a dynamic that I see often happening in couples, which is intention versus outcome. And this can create huge amounts of conflict. One of the things I will see is certain people struggle sometimes with understanding accountability, and I call them like intentioners, and they will often offer up their intention to their partner and put the burden on their partner to make their behavior good. So this might sound a little bit weird. What do I mean? Well, a lot of times with all of us, we have to decide who we are, and we often have to make difficult choices. So, for example, maybe I will am with my partner, and um, I really want to spend time with my partner, and I also want to be able to work long hours at the office because I'm really trying to get ahead. I'm trying to make a mark. I'm trying to um, really make my mark. And so these things create internal conflict for me because I want to do well at work, and my idea of doing well at work means I have to work long hours, and at the same time too I want this relationship and I want to spend time with this relationship. So these things are at odds. And so then in a healthy person, they really have to sit down and figure out who they are and what do they want, and maybe they'll have to talk with their partner and we'll have to negotiate out. But what happens sometimes with intentioners, and it can happen in a lot of different domains, is that they will choose to go with work, and then they'll turn to their partner and say, no, I really wanted to be with you. I really wanted to, go out and, go on a date tonight, so know that I really meant this, but I'm choosing my work. So don't get upset. Know that I meant to be with you. So, and sort of ignore the fact that I'm not choosing you, I'm choosing work, but no, I mean to choose you, but I'm going to choose work. So what they're often doing is they're offering up their intentions. They're saying, hey, I intended to be with you. Sort of ignore the fact that I'm not choosing you. So don't get upset that I'm not choosing you. Know that I meant to be with you. And this type of intentioning really creates a huge amount of conflict because the intentioner is often not going through the developmental challenges of figuring out who they are and taking accountability, because that conversation would look a lot different if they were taking responsibility, saying, yeah, I know our relationship is important. My work is important, but in this moment, I'm choosing work over you. I guess I am saying work is more important than you, and let's have a conversation about that. Instead, what they're doing is sort of trying to play a little bit of emotional shell game, saying, ignore the fact that I'm choosing work. I'm not going to own that. I'm going to just offer you up over and over again my intentions and hope that you will ignore the fact of what I'm choosing. And this kind of conflict creates difficulty within relationships and within people, because the person on the receiving end is like, yeah, I know your intention is good. I know you intend to be with me, but you keep not choosing me. You keep choosing other things. And then you require me to sort of bridge the gap, to fill in the blanks, to somehow manage my emotions on my own and honor that you want to be with me, but every decision you make shows me that you don't. And that's again where we get into a lot of complex dynamics about boundaries, about priorities. So the person on the receiving end may go along with this in the beginning, where they will honor their intention. And everybody can do this one off. I think the thing is to start to evaluate if this is a chronic pattern, where the person is always offering up their intentions and always putting the burden on you to make them good and ignore their behavior. And so this is a very unique thing where in future talks I'll talk about boundaries. But if you're with a person who does this all the time, not one off, everybody will once off do it. And a healthy person will, when they're kind of confronted with that, take responsibility and say, yeah, you're right. I am choosing work over you. I am doing these things. And I guess, yes, if you look at it, my work, I guess, with looking at my choices, my work is more important. I am prioritizing that. Let's sit down. Let me rethink that. The person who is not self-reflective will kind of double down on the defensiveness. They will reiterate the intention, ignore the behavior, honor the intention, ignore the behavior. And they will sort of make you the problem for pointing out that their behavior, their choices, which are theirs, don't match their stated intention. So I like to kind of give this little pocket, because this is as a type of there's a lot of components in here about mental health. It's about self-awareness. It's about accountability. It's understanding the difference between intention and outcome, and also about boundaries in between people. And when you're with somebody who's like this, if you're with somebody who's an intentioner where they're doing this chronically, not just one-off, this can be a very difficult situation. And that would require you to have better boundaries, to stop taking responsibility for their choices. And it would require you to start to self-reflect about, do I really want to be with somebody who can only offer me up intentions and can't push through their behavior or their choices? And at the same time, start to understand that you can't make an intentioner change their behavior. All you can do is point it out, and actually the problem becomes yours. If you're an intentioner and you're often offering your intentions and your behaviors don't match your stated intentions, like you intend to be at home on time, but you never are. You intend to go to the gym or deal with something with your health, but you don't. You intend to lose weight, but you don't, but you want all the privileges that go with a certain body that you don't have. This type of intentioning versus choices, that's about a work to do on figuring out who you are, because that's a developmental thing that everybody has to go through, where we have to often sit with, here's what I want, but am I willing to make the difficult choices to get what I want? Because that means we have to say no to other things. I might have to say no to work. I might have to put boundaries. This is where we have to work on understanding who we are. So if you want to start to take away with this, if you're somebody who's starting to think, gosh, maybe the intentioning part resonates with you, that's where you really want to start reflecting on, who do you want to be and how much of your intentions fit your decisions. If you're somebody who's dating this kind of person or in a relationship with this kind of person, you want to start getting good at having boundaries. You might have to start to face certain realities about understanding how this person makes you feel and seeing them outside of your feelings, not getting all indignant, but just starting to see that their inability to match their intentions and their decision doesn't have anything to do with you or how lovable or wonderful you are. It just may have to do with this person developmentally hasn't worked out yet who they actually are and what do they really, really want. Because that's a big part of becoming a grown-up, is figuring out what we really, really want and making those tough decisions. That often means we have to say no to other things to say yes to something else. We can't say yes to everything. That's kind of a workaround with intentioning. It's like, I want everything. So, I want to go to work. I want to be with you. I'm going to choose work because I perceive work has more immediate consequences. I am hoping you will wait around with me. So please take my intention. So thanks a lot for listening. Again, please click and like. We'll have constant new updates every 4 days or so. Thank you.